got Silicon Frontier number 14. Let's get into it. We've got a big weekend, a lot of news coming out. So Meta appears to have the most incremental gigawatts coming online of any AI lab. And let's look into this a little. So they have a training capacity advantage that, yeah, they could actually become like a real challenger lab in the future. 1.4 gigawatts, 4.4, 3.9. Yeah, so they've kind of got the most of anyone else. I think that's like one of the opportunities where Meta could potentially have a lot more juice than anyone anticipated. So, pretty interesting. Goldman Sachs, the market has already begun viewing big memory on a price to earnings basis as no longer being cyclical. And the re-rating is supported by the long-term agreements with hyperscaler customers that are, in addition, have prepayment. So this is the memory thesis really just playing out as I've kind of mentioned on past episodes. There's a really big shift in financial markets, and we're really going to start seeing some very interesting things happen across all of the memory names. So, yeah, it's an exciting time. All right, moving on. Let's go to semis. So, CoreWeave completed the first system level bring up of NVL72 rack, and it gives 10x better inference than Blackwell. That is phenomenal. And I'm really excited for the models that are going to be trained with these new generation of NVIDIA chips. I think it's going to be a step change. So to be seen. All right, Binance is now trading stocks and ETFs. That's very interesting. Huh. Yeah, maybe BNB could be interesting. Anyway, cool. Qualcomm. Agentic AI will require a gazillion tokens, and it will rise from 32 billion every 10 seconds to 1.3 trillion. I mean, I don't know if the numbers are math, but I directionally agree with the assessment. So, let's see. What else do we have here? Nebius going to 100 billion this year. Yeah, I think they could become a $100 billion company. That seems plausible. They're about 600 billion today. Or sorry, 60. But I just view it as like being the same class as like AWS, Amazon, etc. They've got a great software stack and expertise, and of course they have the hardware. So definitely seems to be a plausible take. All right. AEHR, and so if they're a testing equipment company. So they stress test chips through a process called burn-in. You increase the temperature and voltages above normal operating levels, and you let it run hard for hours. And a weak chip that would have died normally gets exposed far earlier. The good chips go through unharmed. Cool. They have the machines to contact every chip on the whole wafer. And the more machines they place, the more designs customers run, the more high margin consumable revenue compounds. And they purchased a company called Incal in 2024 to add package level burn-in line. So you can, I'm guessing based on like advancedly packaged chips, I guess is the word. Where'd that go? Yeah, package level burn-in. But doing it at the wafer level is incredibly hard. So they have a quasi-monopoly on a full wafer burn-in, 14 million WLBI order. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's a company. Photonics orders. Okay. So their 2026 quarter was about 92 million, and they're a $3 billion market cap. So So price, let's say they do 400 million, uh, 5, 6, 7x book, but I don't know what the margins are on that. I mean, let's just pull it up real quick. AEHR test systems. Let's see the overview. I probably want to check this out on the terminal later on, but okay, so year to date, obviously done well. EPS, what are we looking at? I've got a lower EPS. Like they're still not even really. Oh, okay, no, there it is. So I mean, it's technically infinity, but let's say they could even climb to $1. It's still, it's a very rich valuation. Yeah. Okay. I love these memes. Cool Fluence Energy, a battery storage built for grid stability. Okay. Okay. Business startups still folks out there still business startups when they're raising 60 billion rounds of near $1 trillion valuation. Raise 120 billion cumulatively. Drop the labels, I agree. NVIDIA announced its own first open humanoid robot reference design. Runs on Unitree hardware, Sharpa hands, and Jetson Thor compute, and NVIDIA Isaac software. This is the next frontier right here. Still a little early because these robots aren't able to do, they're not like a consumer everyday level, but we're getting there. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, anyway, that is cool to see. Let's check out. Jensen just talked about the capex cost per gigawatt and how fast it's rising, and the cost of capital is essentially the moat now, not the chips only they provide to players like Nebius and Iron. So if you look at Nebius and Iron today, they both currently have a way of funding that still works. Iron does it with a wider margin to spare right now because they're focused on the builds this year. Nebius has already signed Meta for 2027, which is slightly thinner rope. But the survivor and the operator, so the leaders in the neocloud space will, in my opinion, be more protected, but these are also running on a treadmill. Because the absolute capital per gigawatt keeps climbing, it shows even more that the danger was never this contract today. It's funding the next gigawatt. Like Jensen said before, the growth of these neocloud companies will be insane. NVIDIA is vendor financing its own demand in both of them. In both of them, the Iron warrants and the 2 billion Nebius equity in CoreWeave 2, of course. So those props to the whole cycle are beautiful on the way out, but they also couple these companies' fate directly to NVIDIA, correct. NVIDIA has been and probably will keep backing these players more and more with fresh capital because the operating cash flow they print off these contracts is by far not enough to finance the next build, and the cost per gigawatt keeps going up tremendously. Compute's basically getting more expensive. Like, that's, I think, gonna be dead obvious. Nebius, risk reward, okay. Power semi-wall, cool. Huh. Sweet. Yeah, Photonics has been wrecked recently. I wonder. Yeah, it's probably just like an algorithmic sell-off. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, good chance to get into optics if you've been viewing it. It feels like it's a much needed correction. A lot of these optics companies, I find that the financials are very, what do you say? Rich, I think is the word for the valuation. So to see them have like a bit of a correction definitely feels good. Alrighty, so blah blah blah. A lot of Nebius today. Well, they went up, but I don't think anything materially changed in the business. This was an interesting story around SoftBank. Uh, so there's a whole bunch of data centers being built in France and helping Europe be technically independent, and they're financing up to 75 billion euros or $87 billion for 5 gigawatts of data center capacity. This is a bit that people haven't priced in. It's like nation states are going to basically be funding data center development. Like CapEx, if you thought like we had enough, nope, we're just getting started. Like you're gonna have entire governments putting money for data centers. Oh yeah, and Micron hits $1,000. Yeah, very very cool. Learn how to build homes. 80 billion to $100, $100 billion per gigawatt. That is crazy. Like, I think this is the case with the neoclouds. They built their gigawatts at a cheaper rate, and once they start monetizing it, I think their economics are going to look wildly different. Um, cool. So, dun, dun, dun. Sign back into crypto to long AI capex and Hyperliquid. Silicon Valley startups. Yeah, this was insane this week. Anyway, that's a side note. So, let's check out this one. So, NVIDIA held the GTC to Taipei event, and they introduced the RTX Spark, a super memory Blackwell RTX GPU, 20-core ARM CPU, and up to 120 gigs memory, 1 petaflop of AI performance. Wow, okay. So, it's equivalent to a 5070 in GPU processing power, 100 frames per second in 1440p modern games, and it will release fall 2026. If I was a gamer, this would be very, very cool. I wonder what the actual computer version looks like and how beefy you could make that. Let's see. This is Surface Laptop Ultra. This thing is going to be definitely expensive. Okay. This is RTX Spark. I'm trying to find a bit more details about. Okay, so they've got laptop. Is there a PC version? Okay. So they do have the towers. What are the specs of a tower? Okay, 10 plus desktops. There really isn't. I feel like they put a lot of emphasis on the laptops. There's probably not a lot on the actual PC builds, but I guess that is okay. N1X silicon. To me, a lot of this really just feels like how do we challenge Apple at their consumer grade positioning? Because yeah, Nvidia's kind of been a bit slack on this front, so I feel like this is them kind of taking the throne back, so to speak. Anyway, let's get back to the semis list. I feel like there's not anything too crazy going on here. Just gonna check something. All right. Let's reload this page. Okay, Memories Ledger. I've been really liking this account, by the way. Like, incredibly smart. I don't know who it is, but there's some people who are like, you know a thing or two. So Memories Ledger inferences the interpretation. AI monetization requires AI agentic inference in overcoming the memory wall. But yeah, the memory wall, I agree. The AI memory chips nobody's speaking of. Goldman Sachs on memory. DRAM to remain undersupply at least until 2028. Expect to grow by 20%, 20% and 19%. HBM to remain in undersupply at least till 2028. And the total addressable market is going to be massive. I think people are really realizing this memory shortage is not going to fix itself. Like, there is so much demand that regardless of like how much you're getting on, it's not going to be a lot. Okay, research QF. Micron is near 1,000 now. Wow, this guy is great. Let's see what he's saying. Micron is near $1,000. AI outcome variances, more up than down, are unlike anything in my career. Basic mental framework exercise are worth your time. One of the new drivers clear in March was agentic AI. Why are demand dispersion so huge? It's not just AI exponentials, but leverage for memory per unit of work. So assuming 400 terabytes of DRAM content and a 256 CPU Vera rack, Vera supports 88 cores by 256 CPUs or 22,500 agents. Not fully accurate, but sure. And 1.6 terabytes of CPU or 18 gigabytes per agent, blah, blah, blah. You're looking at 3 exabytes, which is under than 50 exabytes total global DRAM supply. I don't know. I'm trying to see. What does he mean? 2 million CPUs times 1.6 terabytes per CPU is at approximately 3 exabytes. I don't know. Let's see. One CPU platform alone may require greater than 6% of global DRAM bit supply. 26 only a partial year for Vera. Okay. Micron has now tripled in 2 months and risen 10x in 12 months. SanDisk is up 40%. But that view lacked top-down AI demand or bottom-up technology leverage knowledge. Try this exercise 2. Take the most aggressive, credible assumption about new capacity in 2028. Then add 10% wafer capacity. And even moderate assumptions 1 and 2 can add 40 or 60% and overwhelm new supply for years. Tweak assumptions. It's not impossible that demand doubles or shortages last well beyond 2027. Much of this framework was available in March, yet stocks trade low single-digit multiples of minimum peak earnings and single-digit multiple of normalized earnings, effectively pricing a fairly severe downturn. This is the bit that's being repriced right now, and the bit you have to pay attention to. Subjective views was instead an upside tail. Those incredibly wide outcome variances where probability of downturn kept falling as details became clearer. Absolutely agree. That both peak and normalized earnings keep rising, and that multiple rises to 15 or 20 normalized earnings. Micron was not a true.com stock. Demand drivers were elsewhere, and there were far too many new players. But I still believe AI is fundamentally unlike any other cycle, but I wouldn't rule out technical echoes. Charts look parabolic, and there's greater volatility, but they're not long-term bearish. Fundamental work is hard enough, and I doubt most of us have any edge predicting very short-term moves. I agree. Incredibly, agentic AI is just one memory driver. Daria's 10 million or 100 million context windows. These are going to be insane when they come out. And robotics or world models. It's only going to get more wild. I don't think people understand how much the world is about to change. Yeah. Anyway, so going back, basically for Vera-based DRAM demand, the key number isn't precise definition of agents, but an empirically anchored configuration of about 400 terabytes per rack. Yeah, it's when you do the basic napkin math, you realize like memory demand is going to be far higher than you could ever realize. Wow, Nebius is just going crazy on the order books right now. Cool. Well, anyway, I think that's probably about it for now. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode of Silicon Frontier.